The stakes are high in the 2026 midterms, and their outcome will either doom or support the Trump MAGA agenda, depending on who wins the House and or Senate, where the GOP currently holds a narrow majority. But D.C. is not the only government swamp. Nashville is crawling with reptiles as well. One of those reptiles, and make sure you understand that's my description, not our guest, is Senator Richard Briggs from the 7th District of Knox County. He's the incumbent of that district. He is a fitting candidate for the reptile files that I have done on this show in the past, and I will probably do one on him in the future, but tonight we have the man who intends to challenge him in 2026, Kent Morrell, and he can highlight Briggs' record and his donors, as well as what Kent will fight to do if he is elected. He will join us in just a minute. But first, a Trump update. You've probably heard by now that Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after lower estimates of job creation. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Trump just can't handle the bad news. He's got a bad economy. I don't think that's what the case is here. My question is, what took him so long? This has been a long-term problem, going back to the Biden administration, really going back before then. This constant revision of numbers. And in fact, Trump mentioned that. He mentioned that, hey, this is the same crew that revised the numbers right before the election to try to help Kamala. So what I don't understand is why, when Trump took over in January, that's not one of the first things they were looking at, because he is correct. You have to get accurate numbers. And if it's the method that's inaccurate, then that needs to be addressed. If it's the people that are incompetent or politicizing the numbers, then that needs to be dealt with as well. And so I'm glad to see this finally happen, because we've known for a while the numbers are BS and that they can be manipulated. So whatever the cause of that needs to be addressed. Like I say, this should have probably been a week one deal that he took care of. The Trump appointee from Tennessee for the secretary, for the second in command at the Department of Education, Penny Not Worth a Schwinn, that's my name for her, she has been removed from consideration for Deputy Secretary of the Education Department. My question, why was she ever recommended? Who is Trump listening to when it comes to Tennessee? Let's not forget, in 2022, he endorsed Bill Lee. Well, now that scared away a couple of potential challengers, and maybe we would not have been stuck with Lee if Trump had not endorsed him. So once again, you have to really wonder who in Tennessee Trump is listening to, because he's getting some terrible advice. I am glad that apparently Senator Hagerty, Senator Blackburn, and a lot of other people in the state, there were a lot of people contacting D.C., the Trump administration, to say, hey, look, this is a bad choice. So I'm glad to hear that she will not actually be in that position. I am disappointed to hear that apparently she's going to be paid to be a consultant. Hopefully that gig doesn't last too long. Russia and Ukraine, still in the news again. There was a back and forth with Trump and Medvedev, I believe is his name. He's the defense minister for Russia. And basically, he made the comment the other day that, reminding Trump that, and let me back up. This was after Trump said, hey, now I'm only going to give Russia 10 to 12 days to work out some kind of deal with Ukraine and end this war. Well, remember, this is not our war. Trump early on talked about if he had been in power that this would have never happened. He talked about how stupid Biden was for getting us involved. And the other day, when he changed his mind on the timeline to get this thing resolved, which once again is not our fight, in my opinion, Medvedev said, hey, reminded him that, hey, we're not Iran. We are a nuclear power. That upped the ante a little bit. Trump sent some carriers, I believe, to that area just in case there's something more than talk. I did see earlier today where Putin came out and said, hey, I do the foreign policy, not the other guy. So that's a good thing. But this is, like I said, not why is Trump making it ours? He was right when he said it was a terrible idea, and that Biden was the problem. This is something that we should have never, a road we should have never gone down. I would have hoped by now that he would have just turned it over to Europe and say, this is your problem. Because guess what? There would be no war. There would be no fighting if we were not supporting Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia are both corrupt, but it's not our fight.